everyone, welcome back to another thrift flip video. I had so much fun doing the last video. I figured I was gonna try something a little bit different and fun for myself here. Okay, so I recently started listening to BlackPink's LoveSick Girls, and you know what? It is a bop. And I saw the music video and I was just like, some of this stuff here kind of looks like thrifted items that they kind of pieced together. So the first look I wanted to attempt was Jenny's denim cutout look. I think the cutout is actually really cool, and so I wanted to recreate that. And then the second piece that I want to try is Rosé's jacket. It has a bohemian vibe to it, and I wanted to see if I can recreate the same thing. So I hopped on over to one of my favorite thrift stores. It's called Value Village here over in the Heights of Houston. Every time you go to a thrift store, I think the best tip I can give you is to make sure you read the bulletin board that they place in the front of the store. Usually each day there is a color associated to a discount. I'm gonna start out with Jenny's piece, and I think it kind of speaks for itself. I just gotta find something that's denim so then I can cut it out. And I was really lucky that I came across this blouse right here. It already has the window pane grid on it, so I can actually follow the window pane and cut along it, so then I don't have to measure everything out and trace everything out, which is really awesome. So I ended up getting it, and it was only $3.50, which I was really excited about. Okay, so after a nice baking soda soak and a nice light wash, I went ahead and I tried this on, and I'm just going to do some markings to figure out where I want the sleeves. I do want to shorten up the sleeves, and I do want to just kind of cinch in the waist just a little bit, but overall the shirt fits pretty well, which I'm kind of surprised about. Okay, so the first thing is I am going to tackle the sleeves, and since I already pinned where I want the sleeves to be, I'm just going to go ahead and cut right at that spot, and then I'm going to repeat that same cut on the other side as well. So now that the sleeves is cut, the upper arm part is a little bit large, and so I want to bring that in just a tidbit, and I am just going to create kind of like a simple, I want to call it a dart on the side of the sleeve, and it kind of creates kind of like a princess puffiness to it. Next up, I'm going to take one of the sleeves and I'm just going to completely open it up, and then I'm going to cut on bias for this, and I'm going to use the strips to create a nice little binding. And boom, this is what a binding looks like. I just use a bias tape maker and a lot of steam to make sure that it's nice and folded like this. And what I did was I just took the bias tape and I attached it to the raw end of the sleeves just to give it a nice finish, and as you can see, it gives it a nice puffiness. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and tackle the back here. So like I said, I wanted to bring in the waist just a little bit to kind of give it a little bit of shape, but I don't want to actually mess with the side seams. So what I'm going to do is I took the other sleeve and I open it completely up, and then I cut out a couple of strips out of the sleeve. I ended up backing each one of the sleeves with a little bit of interface because I want to give the fabric a little bit more body. I sewed the strips up and I attached some D-rings to it. Okay, so I got this idea from looking at men's tuxedo vests. On the back of their vest, they have the little D-ring attachment. I don't know what kind of closure this is called, D-ring tabs. But anyway, so it's pretty much working in that same manner where it's taking in the princess seam, and the extra fabric in the middle is what's going to be cinched up. Okay, so here comes the tedious part. That would be cutting out all of the squares from this shirt, and I am so glad that I bought this one because obviously there's a grid that I can follow. I just had to figure out how much of it I want to cut out. One thing I needed to keep in mind is that the more I cut, the more the integrity of this shirt is going to diminish. I mean, I want it to have some structure still. I don't want it to be hanging from a piece of thread. I always try my best to make sure I reinforce everything that I make so that I don't feel like I'm wasting my time after I have finished washing. So to mitigate that problem, this is sewing me here, and I am seriously just going through and creating a double top stitch on every single one of those squares because I want to reinforce it so that if it does go in the wash, the extra denim is not going to unravel. Because this took a lot of time and it also took quite a bit of thread, I had to go in and actually snip every single piece of thread out and just examine it to make sure that it looks okay and I wasn't creating bunches of thread everywhere. Okay, so Jenny's original top was not squared like mine is. It's actually more of a diamond shape cutout, and if you look really closely, it's more of a macrame look. So I wanted to just add a little bit extra detailing to the top, and so I decided to create more work for myself. And so each one of these little pearls where all of the squares kind of intersect each other. So this was kind of fun, especially when you're doing it with the cat hanging around. But we powered through and we got it done, and everything is nicely secured. I made sure I double, triple knotted all these tiny little pearls, and here is the final result. So this is the final look. Jenny did wear hers with just like a bandeau top, and I decided to wear a sheer top underneath mine, which I think still looks really, really cool. Obviously my style is very different from hers, and so I still wanted to make sure that whatever I make, I can still wear on myself. I really, really loved the way it turned out. I love that I gave the shirt a little bit more shape, and also the puffy sleeves kind of add that little extra detail. Obviously the cutouts and the extra pearls is again extra, but I think the whole look is really, really cool. It's really stylish, and I love that little extra piece in the back here where I can just cinch it in so that it could be like a nicer shaped top, but I can also loosen it if I want it to be more of a baggy top. And so that is the shirt. This is the original shirt, and here is the final product. What do you guys think about it? And yeah, I think I did a pretty neat job. I'm very proud of myself. And okay, let's move on to Rosé's look. Okay, so with Rosé's look, I need to start out with the base that is a denim jacket, and I was really surprised that some of the denim jackets here were kind of expensive. I was like, ish, what happened? But I was lucky enough to run across this jacket here, and the funny thing is that I saw the same jacket at Target. I think it was last fall or maybe in the spring, and it was originally $30. This is from the Universal Thread line. I ended up getting this thing for $3.50. So this technically is not denim. It's more of like a chambray, maybe a little bit thicker than chambray. I think it would fall more in like the khaki twill category. Whatever it is, this jacket was affordable and it has a lot of pockets. I was pretty happy with the way it was built, and it wasn't too worn out, and so I figured I can use this as the base of Rosé's jacket. So her jacket had a lot of fringes and tassels, and I couldn't find something that would match this jacket so I can create the fringes. So I figured I'm gonna create the fringes out of like a sweater, and lucky enough I ran across this top, and it's from Rue 21, and it's an amazing cute little sweater here with a lot of yarn to work with. And I think the thing really sold me on this sweater was this little tie detail here, and I figured I can do something extra with it. So the more fabric, the merrier for me. Okay, so it is try on time, and this jacket fits amazingly. Like, oh, I was so torn. I was like, do I really want to flip this? I like the jacket, but I do have something kind of similar to this already in my closet, so I didn't want to hoard. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to cut off the sleeves, but we will replace the sleeves with something else, and so I'm just going to create a marking there with a pin, and I'm also going to cut off the collar so I can replace it with some of the fringes. And so I'm just kind of figuring out where I want to cut along the collar and how low I want it to dip in the back. And then the sweater, it's just a sweater. I'm not actually going to do very much to it because that is just the extra detailing for the jacket. Okay, so the first thing I am doing here is I am going to cut off the sleeves of this jacket. Okay, so now I am going to take the jacket and I'm going to place it right on top of the sweater, and I'm going to figure out where I can place the sleeve of my jacket onto the sweater so that it matches up perfectly, so then I can cut the sweater and then sew those two together. One quick thing that I figured would be a really great tip is using masking tape to kind of tape out where you want to cut your sweater, because if your sweater is a large knit like this, if you cut into it, it's going to unravel, and that is not fun. And by using masking tape, you keep it from unraveling. So here I am just snipping off the sleeves of the sweater here, and I do that on the other side as well. So like what I did earlier when I had the jacket on top of the sweater, I pretty much created a perfect fit. So now I'm just going to place the sleeve onto the jacket. And like honestly, something this simple kind of gives the jacket a completely different look. So like if you want to do it on any denim jackets that you have laying around and you just want to give it a freshen up and you have some sweaters to kind of sacrifice, I think this is a great way to do it. Okay, remember that tie that I really loved on the sweater? I'm just gonna go ahead and take that off here, and I'm gonna cut it in half. Okay, and now I'm going to weave it through the open stitching of the sleeves, and I think by adding like a little bow tie at the wrist here is like just very girly and very cute, and I just think it's a cute extra detail that, you know, might as well, like, what am I gonna do with this piece of ribbon just hanging around in my craft room? I might as well put it to good work, and I'm glad that I did because it looks great here. Okay, so now we have to work on the collar and the fringes, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous about this because once I cut into this jacket is gonna be officially destroyed, and it still looks decent right now, you know? So I really had to sit in the corner and meditate, reflect, you know, think about it, do all the stuff. And I finally got the courage to cut into the jacket because you know what? I believe in myself. I'm gonna take the rest of the sweater and I'm gonna pretty much sew that to the collar of the jacket. So as you can see, I am just taping out the sweater here, and I'm using the bottom torso, the bottom half of the sweater, so I'm just gonna cut that out. Pretty nice that I got the top half, which I'm gonna save for another project because I think it's still a pretty decent piece that's left over. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and pin that piece to the collar of the jacket. I went ahead and I just sewed that all the way around, and now this is what the shawl collar kind of looks like. This did not unravel like I expected to. It actually kind of looked a little messy, and so I thought, oh no, I have to create my own fringes, which it's a little bit more time consuming, but that's okay. I decided to just block out a chunk of the collar here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that piece off. And so this is what I decided to do. I went ahead and I just unraveled the yarn here, and I'm going to cut out all the yarn individually, and I'm going to take each of those individual strands and place it on some washable double-sided adhesive. So I want to say maybe this took an hour to do, just cutting every single little pieces of yarn and then sticking it to the adhesive. And now since it's double-sided, I'm going to peel the paper backing off of the adhesive and then stick that to the raw edge of the collar. And then I'm going to go ahead and sew those little fringes to the collar so it kind of gives it more of that fringy vibe. This is what the jacket looks like. So I was really surprised how good this look. I actually really like it. It still has that bohemian vibe to it. It's still very cozy. So for Rose, her jacket, the collar was actually still denim, and originally I wanted to do denim on denim, but I couldn't find anything that matched this specific color. So I figured, you know what, doing a white sweater would probably work a little bit better. Here are the two pieces that were inspired by Jennie and Rose from BlackPink in their Lovesick Girls music video. But I had so much fun making this video. I mean, thrifting is one of my favorite things to do. Sewing is another thing. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, all that stuff. Or don't do any of that at all. I totally understand. But I will see you guys next week with another video. And if you have an inspiration or something that you would like for me to try and thrift flip, you can go ahead and leave a comment down below or shoot me a message on my Instagram at HeyKL. But other than that, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see ya. Bye!